Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another really special Talking Insomnia episode. Derek, welcome.
Hi, Daniel. How are you? Nice to meet you. Finally.
Good. Yes, it's very nice meeting you. And for those of you who didn't see the series of comments on the YouTube channel, it was like you shared something really nice, how you're doing better, and then I was like inviting you, and you're willing to come. So thanks so much for this. And I want to start with what has become my first question to guests is like, how did you come across the channel?
Yeah. So at the start, I was just Googling insomnia and I can't sleep like literally 1,000 times, and then I went to YouTube and I started. I suppose I probably discovered Martin Reed first. I kind of started watching his videos first. This the whole CBT thing. And I tried that for a while and that just wasn't going anywhere. And then, thank God, I discovered your videos and like I just binge watched them really. Like I was just, yeah, they're fantastic. Like, I mean, they're so educational, and it just went from there really, started putting it to practice, like.
So glad you found it. And speaking of the whole journey, so yeah, just tell us a little bit about. We'll start where. How did it all start?
Yeah, so basically November of last year, my father passed away. It was in the middle of November. So I suppose, like, obviously I was grieving, so you're going to have trouble sleeping anyway. But it was kind of going on. It was kind of going on for a bit, and like we were going into December, and my thoughts, I suppose, were kind of making it, the whole rabbit hole thing. Like I was kind of saying, okay, why aren't 2 days went to 3 nights, 3 nights went to 4 nights. I say, okay, what's going on with me? Like, I mean, I was always someone who slept so much before the insomnia. Like, I mean, I didn't even give it a second thought, like so many other people, I suppose. But yeah, it was just getting worse and worse, and that's when I kind of thought, okay, I don't know what's going on here. I didn't know anything about it. Like everybody, anytime I tried to learn something, it was like sleep hygiene, and I was all over the place. So like I went. The first port of call was my doctor, I suppose. And he just prescribed sleeping pills. He said that, look, you're grieving, your sleep will get back on track. Just these tablets, take them for a while, your sleep will get back on track. It didn't, obviously. I always think with sleeping tablets, you can't take them for too long anyway. They actually make you feel worse than if you didn't get sleep. So it was back to the drawing board. Was Googling again. It just got really bad. Like I remember New Year's Eve, just lying in bed, and like there was fireworks going off outside, and I literally had the pillow over my head, and I was literally on the verge of tears, really. My partner didn't know what was wrong with me. She just said, "Look, you're thinking about it too much," which was true. Like, but to anybody who hasn't really experienced it, it's hard to explain. Like, and then, yeah, I think it got the worst was I was at work. I went to work one day, and the night before was just the most awful night ever. Like I had such bad anxiety, really bad anxiety. I didn't get a wink of sleep. I came into work the next morning, and I was so depressed and down. I had work colleagues saying, "Derek, what's wrong? Are you okay?" Like, and I said, "Yeah, I can't sleep. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's going on here." And I remember going home sick that day. I literally went home, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. I said, "How am I gonna?" Because as a human being, like your instinct is, okay, I need to problem solve. I need to say, but how am I going to sort out this issue? How am I going to get back on track? Yeah. So then I thought I was getting places. I arranged to meet a CBT therapist. I said, okay, this CBT, it's the only scientifically proven method of overcoming insomnia. I said, okay, you're on the right path there. He was a nice guy. I met him for an hour. Pretty much told me everything that I had learned myself already by Googling about CBT, because I would be one of these people who would try to get as much knowledge as I can about something as as I learn it. Like, so he was telling me like that. He was telling me about the stimulus control, about getting out of bed. If you can't sleep within the 20 minutes. That was okay. I could, in my mind, I could say that I could do that, if needs be, but the sleep restriction thing just threw me completely off. Like, he was telling me that, okay, how many hours are you sleeping on average at the moment? I said, I suppose, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours. So he said, okay, he says, so you need to go to sleep at 1 a.m. and you need to get up at 5 a.m. and see how that goes. So, like, I didn't even attempt that. Like, I mean, I thought, okay, that's madness. This how is that going to get me out of this slump? So I actually, after going in with such hope, I left. I left our meeting, like, and I just thought, oh God, this I'm still not. This still isn't doing it for me. I don't know what's my next hope, like, and that's basically then when I discovered your videos, and I bought the books, and I said, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So yeah, things got better. Yeah.
It's perfect. Place to take a little pause. Like, thanks for sharing the story. And now we're in where are we in now time wise? This is like February, March, or where are we now?
As in, so, like, since I first got it, is it?
Yeah, like, let's say you found my channel, and
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
when was
I
that?
I found your channel. I think it was in February,
In February.
middle to late February. Because yeah, December and January were just, they were just horrible months. Yeah, so yeah, I discovered your videos, and I started, the whole natural philosophy. I started to saw the first thing I did, obviously, was I bought the book Set It and Forget It, and that was just it was just fantastic. It just, what I thought was, this minefield just was simplified in a matter of pages. You know what I mean? That it wasn't this, okay, it's not this big great like mystery, like, and that was great. Then I bought This Is Natural, and and it's like, even though I was kind of having, I was supposed to, at that, like, very very quickly after buying the books, I would say that I wasn't really struggling. I think when I adopted the methods and stuff, that the sleep started to improve. But then, of course, I started getting a lot of speed bumps, and that kind of swayed me again. I was kind of saying, okay, what's going on now? Like, I mean, I thought I knew everything now.
And so, yeah, no, thanks for sharing this. And super glad. I was just gonna say that I was so glad when you said that. Immediately started reading Study Don't Forget It. Things started clearing up. That makes I'm so happy to hear that. And I just want to think about for a second, is there anything I want to ask more about, the period kind of before of the struggle there? I just want to, this is just for the community so they get a sense of it, but did you also go through this rabbit hole of like gadgets and supplements and those type of things?
Everything, yeah, everything you can think of. Yeah, I used to have my little cocktail at night was CBD oil and melatonin, and I would then, like, I'd have Headspace, the app Headspace. I would have that ready with the headphones by the bed, so I would take the supplements, and Headspace has a whole section on sleep, and they would, sleep stories and all this kind of stuff, and I would. It worked a few times, but then just like everything else, when you're trying, it stopped working. And like, I used to do ridiculous things. I remember there's an exercise on Headspace that if you can't sleep in bed, they tell you to get out of the bed and to walk across the room, and each time you get to the end, walk back again, but each time you do it slower until you start feeling drowsy and you go back into bed again. Absolutely ridiculous. And absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if anybody if any neighbor or anything saw me. There's a really odd person walking from the end of the room to the other. Oh, absolutely nuts.
Yeah, no, I mean it's honestly it's so nice that we both, I mean especially you, but we can laugh at this point, but at the same time it's like when you hear that and you imagine someone has trouble sleeping and they're trying this, it's kind of it really messes with your mind when people tell you things like that, which is sad. But anyway, um, so yeah, you went down that path, of course, like so many others, and you started reading the book. Things became clearer, but then you had these kind of setbacks. And was it was it to a point where you thought you were kind of like in a hopeless place, and you thought, "Oh my gosh, this is not working at all," or was it still that you saw it was a speed bump, but you saw that you're on the right path?
Um, to be fair, since I read Set It and Forget It, ever since I read that book, I never ever tried supplements again, of any kind. I stopped with the Headspace. I never went back on any of that. Like I really did follow it to the letter. It's just I expected. When I had the book and I started sleeping better, I basically thought that that was it for me. That I was going to my sleep is back. Yes, I don't have to worry about it anymore. But yeah, then the first few speed bumps, they were okay. I might not sleep for a few nights, and I think those were the times then that I put questions into you in open class. They were the times that I were dealing with the speed bumps, and like the very last speed bump I got was probably the worst one. That was probably the first time that I actually started kind of doubting myself, because it was like 4 nights repeatedly of really poor sleep, but I always, to be fair, I always through all of it, I always kind of, in the back of my mind, I kind of said, right, do nothing, don't react to it in any way, just, take it in your stride and it'll get back on track itself, and it does, like, you really, like, I'm responding to people in the comment section, like, because, and it really is, it's as easy as that, like, don't react to it, and it will come back itself. Now, obviously, when people are in the struggle, that's obviously more intense, and that's going to take a bit of time to get out, befriending wakefulness and all that. But I think the speed bumps, yeah, like, I mean, just don't do nothing, which you said to me yourself, like in open class. Yeah.
And yeah, and by the way, I just want to sneak this one in here that I was so grateful to you, Derek, and everyone else who's like helping in the comment section. That means so much. And now, yeah, and by the way, roughly like that kind of last speed bump, which was very intense. When was that?
That last speed bump, I'd say, was, what do we know, November, December. I reckon it was about 2 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but like, I would still have like on and off bad nights, like, but it never stopped me from doing things that I liked. Like, I mean, I remember going away for a couple of nights at the weekend, and I remember being in a hotel. I didn't sleep at all one night, but carried on the next day, didn't let it affect things, and that was the end of that. That it went away. I started sleeping better again. So I went on holidays to Spain. Actually, that was about a month ago. I said, right, this will see. I'll see where I am now and things here. I'm going away to Spain now for a couple of weeks, and I had probably 2 or 3 bad nights over there. I remember one night I didn't really sleep at all, and the next day we were actually doing a day trip. But it did not stop me from having, from going on the day trip and, having a great day. As I said, I was commenting on a person who put a comment on there earlier, and I said that I didn't sleep last Friday night, and I went out Saturday for, just for a meal, for a few drinks, because it was my partner's birthday. But as I said to him, I never let them stop me from having a good day the next day, no matter how bad how tired I was or how bad I felt.
Absolutely. It's so wonderful to hear this, and I just want to say this to everyone that's tuning in here that uh, to me, like I call these episodes success stories, but I know that word is tricky because oftentimes it seems like success is sleeping a certain amount or sleeping well, which really isn't the case because when we make that a goal, we have some trouble. But to me, success is when you're okay having some struggle, you're okay having a night where you don't sleep much, and you see that it doesn't have to derail you. You can still have a nice day and etc. Do all the things that are meaningful to you, because then that leads to where I sense that you are at, Derek, where you're not bothered by the struggle anymore. It doesn't really exist anymore, and then everything nice follows, including sleeping better and better. But it doesn't make sense to you, Derek?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like, I mean, that's all. Like, insomnia, full stop, is a struggle. That's a full stop. It's, it wants to make you feel, crap about yourself, and negative. It wants to ruin your day. If you've had a bad night, it wants to ruin your day, and that's that's when it's got you. Then if you give in to that, if you stay in bed, or if you don't do something you were going to do, before you had the bad night, you're giving into it. Then I think, as I said, like, what was the way I said it? Like, having a bad night, like, it is bad. Like, it's like being hungover the next day, but you don't have to let your brain know that.
Right.
That's the way I kind of look at it. You don't have to let that know that. You don't have to let the brain know that.
That happened. Yeah. Absolutely. And now I'm thinking, like, if there's I have, like, I of course want to ask you this final question of like how you want to relate to yourself. But just before I let you go, I just want to ask, see if there's anything I'm missing. But I think we covered it like well. So yeah, let me just ask you this one then. So it is the which has become my last question to I guess, which is, if you would, think about Derek, like where you were at, let's say in, January or something like that, and if you could talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard looking back on it, how bad it was in January. I mean, and like, I must say as well, like, I mean, for people who've struggled, like, for years, for some people I've heard for 20 years or something. I mean, such, like, respect for them, like, still being here today and all this kind of stuff, because they didn't have access to, like, your videos. But I would have just said, don't think about it so much in your head, definitely, because when you're in the struggle, like, it's literally every day, all day, it's all you think about is just sleep, sleep, sleep. It's all you Google on your phone. I would say first stop Googling it straight away. Just try and be a bit more positive. Know that all this pressure you're putting on yourself. Be a bit more, like, be a bit more kind to yourself. Like, you're always saying that, and it is true. Like, because you beat yourself up so much about it. You say, oh, why aren't I sleeping like everybody else? Like, I used to get, like, my partner would be snoring next to me in bed, like, and I used to just get so, oh God, she's having such a good sleep now, and here I am just lying here, like, I used to get so frustrated. That's pretty much it. It's just mindset. But when somebody doesn't know what to do, and it's a very lonely place, and like, when you're reading absolute rubbish like that, sleep hygiene, and have a cool bedroom and all this kind of, it just, that just makes it worse. You know what I mean? All that stuff is just making the whole problem a lot worse. And, like, even so, even I've seen sleep experts, like, on YouTube and stuff, and they're saying the same stuff. You know what I mean, about, all these sleep hygiene. Nobody's ever kind of gone, into the actual mind like you have. You know what I mean? And I always thought, even with CBT, that CBT has way too much rules, for it to be a real way of, freeing yourself from a struggle. Like, this sleep restriction, you're trying to get rid of sleep deprivation by creating more sleep deprivation. It's completely.
Absolutely. Totally hear it. And I think, for different people it becomes different things that becomes kind of that what leads to like leaving the struggle. But for many, like I hear from you, is that when you see that I can still do things that are meaningful, that are fun, I can still live my life, and then that kind of overshadows that struggle and can be so helpful. So, and by the way, I want to ask you, you said like your peer is next to you, or your
Partner.
partner. Okay, I didn't hear that. I was like, maybe I can learn a new word, but it was just partner. Okay. Very, very well. And you're in Ireland, by the way, right?
I'm in Ireland now, yeah. So it's 20 past 8 here now, yeah.
Exactly.
But
Now I was gonna say I think you're first guest from Ireland, so
am
extra
I?
special.
Yeah, well, I think we definitely need some sleep coaches in Ireland as well, because yeah, like even when you're going through, when I was going through, the amount of people that actually are sleeping bad today, is frightening. Like, I mean, I've got a few people who I work with, like, who are always saying, gee, I got like 2 hours sleep last night, and I'm like, oh, you need to check out this guy on YouTube, Daniel Larson, he's the man. But like, I mean, like, you have to put in, the effort too. You know what I mean? It's no good just watching a video and then 2 days later, "Oh, I'm going to take a sleeping tablet tonight," and that'll get me through tonight. You do have to commit to it. Like, you have to try it, but not try it.
Yeah.
In that kind of sense, like. But yeah, but like, as well as getting past the struggle and stuff, it's very interesting as well. I found it very interesting, the whole, that the human body is made of a lot more resilience than we thought. You know what I mean? Like, that I would have never thought in a million years, like a year ago, that I'd say like, oh, can't sleep in 4 days, I'm not going to function. You do, like, you get up the next morning, you get through your day, you do your work or whatever. Um, you do get through the days, like, and it's always harder at the start. That's what everything in life. But as I said to people in the comment section, it can't not get better if just keep,
Yeah.
not give in to the struggle. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, I think everybody, I did it at the start when I was first struggling. It's just people make way too much of it in their heads. They say, oh, I'm not doing this. Okay, I need to do that. I need to, no. The book says, you need to do that. We just make way too much of it. Like, I spend so many nights in the kitchen just reading just boring stuff, and then just like, I like, when I was doing the CBT, like, I used to be down in the living room, and I would be looking at the clock like, okay, I can't go to sleep yet. No, I need to go. I'll just read this now for another while, and then go up to bed at 12 o'clock. I mean, my partner, she thought, like, she thought I was going mad. Like, I says, no, 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 no. I said, I need to be in bed now at 12, and even if I sleep bad, I'm going to be up at 6 the next morning. She was really worried about me. She said, because I would be a very energetic person usually about the day, love life and all this kind of thing. But, like, she said, like, I just completely changed as a person for those few months. Just I was depressed, I suppose. And I just saw no way out in my head. I couldn't find a way that I was going to get through this.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what gets you, is that, we're designed, as you said, like for problem solving. And then when like the problem solving is the problem, we just get deeper and deeper into it. And then of course we don't see a way out because it's so hard to see it. And what you just said, I think that's so important. I will echo with so many people that hear this, that, you feel like you're not yourself. And even other people say you're not yourself. And
Completely, yeah. It's, and it is an epidemic. Like, sleep deprivation is an epidemic. Like, I mean,
yes.
it's
And
ridiculous.
now you led me into a direction of, and this is another one of my kind of favorite questions, which is uh, like, do you find that this whole struggle and leaving the struggle and seeing it for what it is, etc., do you feel that it has taught you things that are applicable to like other areas of life?
Oh, it would definitely. I mean, like, it shows you how powerful the mind is. you know, and how dangerous the mind can be if you let it be. If you let it be, you know, I mean, obviously they go hand in hand with anxiety, you know, I mean, and you see a lot of people with PTSD, like having sleep issues and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, like I mean, it's incredible how complex the mind is. Like basically, like what started off as a couple of bad nights for me escalated into something where like I became like depressed. I didn't know what was going on. I was completely lost. I became a different person. And like it only took like a few bad nights to make it like that. And like a long journey. Like it like that's the thing about insomnia. It takes so little time for it to start, but it can take a while for it to stop then. And it can take a very long time if you know if the struggle the worse the struggle is. Like I mean, I suppose people who've had insomnia for years, I mean, it must be so ingrained into their brains that it must be very hard to, you know, I suppose it's probably harder for them to leave it maybe, you know.
Yeah, totally. I think generally speaking, I think there's some truth there, but you also have it also depends on timing. You can have someone who's had insomnia for like years and years and years, but they're just at the right kind of, or they're receptive to something new, and when they learn something new, it actually fades pretty soon for them too. So it's hard to predict, but you're right. Of course, if those ideas are really entrenched, it often takes a little more time. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm so glad that you did so well, and also you can see how this can help in other areas of life, etc. So I will just say thanks so much for coming on, Derek. It's a real pleasure, and this will help the community so much.
Oh yeah, it's been a pleasure. Lovely meeting you.
Okay, be well and be in touch. Okay.
All right, thanks, Daniel. Take care.